Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and UN Sustainable Development Goals 2015-2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. We welcome you all once again. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
Kurutvam kalyanam आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's session. Before that, we wish you all happy Krishna Janmashtami and happy festival greetings to all of you. Today, we have with us Dr. Chandrakala Diyale, Senior Assistant Professor, Amity Institute of Social Sciences, Amity University, Noida, India. She has MPhil, PhD in Social Work with UGC NET and MA, BA from Delhi University, and is also a recipient of research fellowships from UGC. Her academic and research interests include geriatric social work, child and women rights, counseling, gender studies. She has many research publications in reputed national and international journals like Scopus, and articles, chapters published in books. And she has a research project funded by National Commission for Women, that is first ever book on women in Sikkim, entitled A Situational Analysis of Women and Girls in Sikkim. A Situational Analysis of Women and Girls in Sikkim. Published by NCW, Executive Committee Member of ACMP India, and also Life Member of NAPS. Executive Committee Member of ACMP India, and also Life Member of NAPS. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you for your session on Code of Ethics. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you for your session on Code of Ethics.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ravindra sir. Thank you so much. Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing for having given me this opportunity, this platform to speak about Code of Ethics today. I'm very thankful to Ravindra sir because he has been taking this, what do I say, taking this really very challenging, stride to go ahead with, a lot of international conferences. He has been organizing and coordinating and sitting throughout the day, making sure that every resource person comes on time and, everything nitty-gritty. And just organizing and coordinating one day of the program takes away your rest, but he's doing it continuously for the last 75 days and more now. So, I mean, hats off to you, Ravindra sir, for your energy, and may Narayan or God, continue to bless you with such energy, good health, and such zeal to take the academicians ahead, you know, uh, under your guidance, under your leadership. Thank you so much, sir. And today I would be presenting or sharing my thoughts about code of ethics. Before I share the PPT, you know, this is there was a Swayam, presentation, and I had shared this with the students online, and that's going to be broadcasted very shortly throughout India and across the world as well. That I was given this very topic of code of ethics and values, social justices, to talk about. And today, when I'm talking about code of ethics, see, code of ethics is, it's ethics lies everywhere. Ever since our inception of human being, the ethics have been, underplaying every aspect of our life. Because without a code of ethics, we would not be able to really channelize our life. At our personal our private life also, we've got to be ethical, because ethical things in my own life I have noticed. I've lived for many years to really take a stand and say that if you follow the proper code of ethics at your personal life also, it's going to sustain your life, and it's going to sustain your life with quality, right? So your quality of life would get enhanced, and when your quality of life would get enhanced, automatically you don't have to think about the quality, the longevity, the sustenance. You don't have to worry about. So very, very important is code of ethics. And we always confuse with the morality. We feel that code of ethics is same as being moral, but code of ethics and morality, the moral being, is different. See, for example, I can say I am moral. So if I'm moral, few uh, this few things I'm supposed to be doing. That means not to kill, to keep everyone happy, to meet everyone, to gift everyone, not to hurt anyone, and be always be punctual, always be ready with the answer. These are like small way to be ethical or moral. But when it comes to code of ethics are something that is being it's a guideline that is being followed, or that has to be followed by every institute. It could be anything. It could be educational institute, it could be social institute, it could be religious institute. The code of ethics prevails everywhere. So how it makes makes it, code of ethics makes it different than the morality is, morality says that we are not supposed to kill. But tomorrow, if a tiger or any wild animal enters your colony, what would you do? Or a snake enters your colony, what would you do? Your immediate reaction would be, to finish it off. So why finishing it off? Why? It's very immoral. We are not supposed to kill animals or anyone. So how are we supposed to, follow the morality now? That's a big question. So every time we cannot be moral, and morality, it depends on the society or the culture that society follows, the customs that society follows. So we are supposed to like but what about euthanasia? Now see, we are not supposed to kill, but we are killing a person. Why? Euthanasia has been the way to help a patient who is terminally ill, and he or she doesn't want to live anymore because the pain is severe, things are not good. It is like, brain dead and have been like that for many years. You've got to finish that life because that person has opted or voluntarily or involuntarily. Sometimes family also says, that it's better if she goes away in a dignified way. So that is where is code of ethics and morality differs, right? So I'll be sharing the PPT now. There are multiple PPTs I would be. Why am I not able to? Just a second, sir. First one. No, there are multiple. One. Oh, one. First one.
Visible, ma'am.
It's visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you come, okay, no? No, it's not able to. There is no.
Yeah, it's full screen now, ma'am.
Okay.
Please continue.
So ethics. See, I don't know about the audience, sir. I think in the audience, the participants are all from social work background.
No, ma'am. From diverse disciplines, we have
Okay.
participants.
So yeah. See, I would be then, but talking about more about social work perspective, because I belong to social work, and see, as far as ethics is concerned, see, we've got to be ethical in our decision making, right? Every time, because all of us, we deal with human being. If it is to do with medical practitioners or social workers or anyone, any or maybe bureaucrats, we have to be ethical in our ways, right? In our dealings, right? And what is the consequence of us being ethical is, it could be the ultimate consequence of our decision would be just promoting happiness or maybe happiness for whom? That is another question. And next is promoting perfectionism in society. There could be two reasons, right? And morality, it all comes, our basis of morality is, it could be religion, it could be anything, any institute that we are adhering to. And for religious people, following the code of ethics is like, like just believing in the way of divine. I mean, getting up in the morning, obeying your parents, doing your duties in a responsible manner. But for a social worker, it is just a different, little different. Yes, that is all, uh, following all the good things in life is good, but when we are seeing a client or a case that comes to us, we have to be very systematic and scientific in our fact finding. Yeah? And there has to be a logical reasoning as well. So without that logical reasoning, we would not be able to kind of come in term with the code of ethics. Ah, so social workers are interested in ethics so that our relationship with client, colleagues are superior, or our subordinates are within the frame of social work values. Now see, we have to be ethical in our daily practices, right? No matter which walks of life we come from, ethics is intrinsic to human values, right? And then but for social workers, we follow that morality of the house, rule of thumb. I mean, you have to be good to people, make everyone happy and all, but we can't be the same every time. We cannot follow the universal rule every time, right? So we've got to see the situation, we've got to see the environment, we've got to see the problem of the case, because we would be dealing with the 4 P's. A person coming with a problem, coming to which place? To the agency or organization, and then for to undergo the process of treatment, to undergo the process of development, the self development. So that is very, very important. So see, I mean, ethics is being practiced by the medical fraternity also. There are the bar association for the legal body as well. So everyone follows. But for, especially for social worker, we are dealing, see, for all this lawyers and advocates and all, they deal with the case. They would see what are the prima facie situations and all. They would see, they would delve into details and all. But for social worker to follow the code of ethics, it is to do with the values of human. Also human values needs to be focused as well, because we would be dealing with the emotion of a person, we would be dealing with the feelings of the person, we would be dealing with the human being which is in interaction with the outside world, his family, the society. And then he's not only dealing with the outside world, but he's dealing with his self too, right? So self, what is that self? Self is the psychological part of it. What is psychological part of it? That means his feelings, thinking, pattern of thinking, and something to do with uh, his decision, his responses to different stimuli, his behavioral pattern. So everything we would be dealing with the with the client or with the case. So it is very, very important for social workers to be very, very logical, to have all the reasoning in place in order to decide decide whether they are ethical or not. Otherwise, being ethical is just deciding on the viewpoint of morality, but we've got to take care of every integrity of of a person, because you would be dealing with that person inside and outside. That means, first, I have already talked about psychology. The other one is social, psychosocial. That means, and psychosocial and somatic also, because when we are dealing with the psychology, that means his pattern of thinking is going to have a direct link with the somatic, that means the body, right? So we would be dealing with the whole periphery of whole system itself of a person, right? That is psychosocial and somatic. That means his physiology. So we've got to be readily available for them to take care of them in our moral decision, in our ethical decision. And now, what is ethics? Systematic, examine ethical framework that is coherent set of rules or principle by which people ought to live. Most people instead carry around a useful set of day-to-day rules of thumb that influence and govern their behavior. Now, see, I've already told you, people think code of ethics is okay, fine. Code of ethics is, it's just a rule of thumb, not to hurt anyone, be good to everyone, help everyone, not to kill everyone. But there are certain, clauses or a certain principle or rules that needs to be, practiced by the professionals like us, like social workers. So those are being not only influenced by the morality that is being kind of adhere by the society that they are living, but they are being set by the organization that they are serving. So now ethics, see, I've already given you the differentiation. Ethics is significant decision that you have made that had an effect either for good or bad on the lives of other people. So sometimes it is if I talk in terms of social work, sometimes we have to, in order to follow the code of ethics, we have to be little immoral as well. Please do not take it personally, participants. We have to be immoral in the sense, like somebody, there's a family, then suddenly husband gets affected with AIDS, right? Because that could be because of many things, multiple partners, it could be anything. There are many ways to to be infected by the AIDS. So then when this person reveals to us that I have this problem, and then I don't want my wife or my family to know it. Now you are in a fix. Code of ethics, morality says no, you should tell all the family members and help. So that is where is the dilemma. That is where is the our dilemma lies in our decision as what would be the most or best moral ethics or code of ethics to follow at this moment of time. The client is saying, do not reveal to my wife, do not reveal it to my family, or and he's still needing the help. So in that case, so there is one problem, because if you don't reveal, there could be a lot of things, a lot of you could be one of the reasons for harming the wife indirectly, because if you do not reveal. So best code of ethics would guide us to decide for that person is, he should be immediately linked, or you should just have a network, allow a liaison with the hospital that gives the best care for the AIDS, right? for the HIV is positive people. And then, and next would be to make sure that you take wife in confidence. If you are not revealing it to parents, that is okay, but wife should know this. Why? Because why have you taken this decision? In order to protect the wife, because your code of ethics has already guided you that you have to first take care of the client, the case that has come for seeking the help. So now, and you are helping him with the help of his wife. So for some time abstinence could be there, right? Sexual abstinence could be there, and then he could undergo the treatment, and he could be fed well, taken care well by the wife, and then the husband gets well, then reintegrates in the family, and then they live as a happy couple, happy family. So that is the best, ethical decision you have made. So this one, ethics and morality, I have already discussed with you. So in a brief, I will just let you know what is ethics and morals. Ethics is reasoning involved. As I already told you, you have to reason it out. What is the reason why, following the code of ethics, I did not reveal it to his family that he is suffering with AIDS, life-threatening disease, is HIV positive, he is HIV positive. Why didn't I reveal? Because I reasoned it out. There is no danger to the family, right? Other members of the family, then the wife. So your best decision, this is the best decision that you took wife in confidence, and then help the client or case to be, to be helped by the wife as well at the, home environment, and then at the clinical environment, you are helping the client, right? And then it is, and moral is adhering to what is described or prescribed. You just, help yourself by, following the code of conduct of the society, whatever is prescribed. Ethics is beyond rules. You don't go by the rules of thumb. You follow your own discretion. You follow your own reasoning power in order to decide. Yeah, and you're in, if you are being moral, you are there. That is a hard and fast rule that is being followed by the society, right? So it is, but in terms of ethics, it's beyond rule. So usually, next is usually considered universal. So it is universal in the sense, code of ethics is universal in the sense, an institute is following certain code of ethics. So it becomes a universal rule of law for everyone. All the professionals who are working there have to follow that, and this is relative to society and culture. So morality, it depends, for Indians, respecting your husband, or I can say respecting your husband, and following few kind of rules, like wearing a bindi, wearing a sundur, that comes with, that is like, you really imbibe all that, you really add all that, because you respect the very relationship with your husband, right? So that is what it is. It is the culture. But if you go out and maybe if you go to Russia, if you go to US and all, you'll get to see, like, there could be a one night stand. There is, like, if you cannot tolerate the husband here, wives and all, they strive hard to kind of keep their husband. The institute of marriage is very, very strong institute of family, institution of family is kind of really valued. But in the modern culture, Western culture, and all the things might not be so strong, right? But we cannot just judge them. I mean, I've seen, yeah, I have friends and all from, US. They are adhering to all this kind of, customs and rituals and all. They have their own community rituals that they follow, and they would love to follow. So for the survival of the society, first is, for the survival of the society, that means code of ethics is very, very important for the survival of society. So how I have managed to make calm down my client or my case, by taking the help from the wife and not letting with the parents and other members of the family know that he is suffering with HIV positive, right? Because, and I could survive the family, I could keep the respect, the glory of the family forever, that the parents are not knowing all that problem whatever he's suffering with. So that is what is, in order to survive the family, you have to follow the code of ethics. May be different from culture to culture, so it depends, in terms of morality, it depends, whether somebody is open with their I mean, the kind of any rituals and any custom that you follow, it depends on the on culture to culture, how you want to take, sometime, like, for Indians, like, if it is to do with negotiating as who's going to leave the job in order to take care of the children after marriage or after having the baby. So it's often in Indian culture, it's so natural for the, I mean, I'm not going against the gender, parity, but taking care of all that, but it's so natural, this is emotional quotient that we are talking about. It's just that it's very natural for the woman to sacrifice for a few years until the child becomes a little big, and then then she can restart the career, because the children would never wait for you to have your career, good career, and then they would grow, because that's a natural process. They would grow, and once they grow big, they would not need, because they would be self-reliant people. So something that comes ahead of you, you have to kind of decide, and in the Indian culture that gets decide, and I mean, it is very, very natural for the woman to kind of sacrifice and understand the situation, and mother being very close to the child, she decides on that. And standard is, this is maybe different. Standard is universal and immutable, not subject to change. So a code of ethics is, it is a standard which is universal and it does not change. But to be ethical, you should figure out what is right by applying some principle and considering all the complexities involved. Clearly, the ethical life is the harder part. So here may change as acceptable social behavior in the cultural changes. To be moral is all about adhering to what is described by society or religion. So if the path of code of ethics is difficult, because you have to be logical also at that same time. You have to reason it out as why you are deciding certain things at the certain time in a given situation, but morality is flexible. It is like, it differs with the society, it differs with the kind of people you are, and kind of kind of religion you follow, and all that, it depends on. For example, for Hindus and all, for Hindus, I mean, getting married in the same gotra is very, very tough. You cannot get married, and it is scientifically proven that you should not get married in the same gotra. Now, if I mean, you talk about Tibetans, you talk about this community, some tribal communities and all. If you talk about the Muslim religion and all, they they are okay with your daughter getting married to your brother. So I mean, that's very, very acceptable. So this is what is the differentiation of between, difference between the ethics and morality, right? Ethics is basically derived from Greek meaning custom, which is the branch of oxyology, one of the four major branches of philosophy. This is very, very conceptual. I'll just not delve into detail. It is very, very conceptual, since people are from different backgrounds and all. I would go in a way, my presentation would be in a way that everybody would comprehend, because this is very, very psychological that I would be talking about. So conceptual part I would be leaving little, I would not explain, and whatever is feasible for everyone to what is whatever is necessary for everyone to understand, I'll explain that. Ethics involves making decision of a moral nature about people and their interaction in society. Kitchener, 1986, he says that ethics is generally defined as philosophical decision that is concerned with human contact and moral decision making. So ethics is all about reasoning about how one should act in a given circumstances, that is how to do the right action. Now, essence of ethics. Ethics is a study of morality. The essence of ethics, core of ethics, is to understand those philosophical which guide us in determining what is right or wrong, which I have already explained. Now, determinants of ethics. What determines our ethics, code of ethics? So there are many, many determinants of ethics. Every institute, when they are, I just hope my camera is on. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Determinants of ethics. Now here, there are many determinants and then, our morality or code of ethics is determined by many factors, and our institute also take cognizance of the different factors that determine the morality of that particular society, right? So they are religion, law which is determined by the Constitution of India, society, how the society, what are the practices of society, individual as well. It depends on the individual sense, how he wants to adhere to different ethics because of his individual, his individual being. What are the things that you would like to follow, and knowledge, what is the level of knowledge society has, and the time, it depends on the time. See, I mean, in the earlier time, the traditional time, sati pratha was very much highly regarded, because if your husband goes to the lotus feet of God, goes to rest in lotus feet of God, the wife has to follow him. Now today, if you are every this commercial they are showing, that if you are old, doesn't matter, you can always lead a renewed life, and then you can choose a partner to live your life. So I mean, see, it's just a tradition is just 3 generation away down the lane, but they used to adhere to the practice of sati. But today, instead of going back there, you are coming so far that you are choosing another man to live your life happily, because gone is gone. Now whoever are remaining on the earth, they should be happy. So we are our very ethics have changed. The framework of ethics has changed totally, because of our because of the time and the society change in our thinking, our attitude, all that matters a lot. So code of ethics. Now essence of ethics. A consequence is the outcome of any act doing good with proper reasoning, being ethical as many positive consequences. Like, so, I mean, these are just if we are ethical and if we are non-ethical, this is advantage of being ethical, the disadvantage of being unethical, or disadvantage of being unethical. Okay, so first one is safeguarding the society. If we follow the path of code of ethics, we would be safeguarding the society. For example, now we are trying to feel for the, I mean, we had absolutely in the race for competition, in the race for achievement, in the race for accomplishment, in the race for development, we had forgotten about our environment. We had forgotten about our flora and fauna. And recent pandemic has taught us that how it is very, very important for us to kind of understand the society in totality, in a holistic manner. So without flora and fauna, we would not be able to exist even a single day. Not even a single day. If the bees, I'll just give you extra information. If bees dies, then if the flowers, we stop planting, growing flowers, the bees would die. And repercussion is the whole civilization, the human civilization would die. And if now we are concretizing the environment everywhere in the name of development, we are concretizing. So what is going to happen? Ultimately the oxygen level is going to go down. Once the oxygen level goes beyond certain limit, what is going to happen? If you remember the story of the end of Sita Ma, what did he do? What did she do? The whole earth had torn off, and she submitted it into the earth. The same thing is going to happen. The earth is going to burst out. It is going to crack out without oxygen. So it is very, very necessary. We are very close to the nature, and without cohabitation, we cannot think about our good life. Forget about quality of life. We cannot even survive. Right? So that is why code of ethics is very, very important to be practiced, to be adhered to in our daily living. Feeling good. So if we follow the code of ethics, if we love everyone, if we follow the code of ethics, morality with reasoning and proper logical thinking, we would be safeguarding the society. And if we are safeguarding the society, every individual that are living in the society would feel good. And creating credibility, that means if we adhere to the ethics, now see how you cannot, for this creating credibility, I'll give you an example of 2020 when we had lockdown. When we had this lockdown, we had this lot of religious differences, right? So we feel, oh, this religion is big, this religion is small, this religion is the same. Leave all that. Whoever has come as a man of God has always tried to teach well, good to the society. Like it could be Sikh, the Sikh gurus have taught the morals of life, the ethics of life. The Jesus has come to earth. He has taught the moral, we have given names to that. Rama has come, he has, with his own life, he has depicted how goodness would help you to become ultimately the king who would, he never was allured for the, throne. He just at one word of his stepmother, he just left his home, and without taking care of, whether he would be king or the Sita would be queen. He, without bothering the consequences, he just obeyed his parents. So this, blind obedience to parents, what did it fetch? He became the king forever. That today, when every humanity would get the salvation with his name. right? So creating credibility, if you follow the code of ethics, ultimately you would be earning a lot of credibility in the society. For example, I'll give you the example of 2020. As I said, you know, there were a lot of organization who held the NDTV, this program, because they wanted to raise the fund because of bills and all that has been introduced by our present government. It is very difficult to raise the fund from outside because there are a lot of rules and regulation that they have to abide. So it is difficult. So what did they do? They wanted to raise the fund. I mean, with the help of with the help of indigenous people. So what happened is this World Vision India, this organization is basically a very renowned organization, and every there were many, I think about 10 organizations that held the program, and every organization within that 45 minutes of the program could fetch 2 crore, 1 crore and all. But because of the credibility this World Vision India had earned in the community, this organization within that time, they earned 16 crore in that 45 minutes of duration. So that is why, because they, as an organization, I know as a social workers, because I've done all that internship, I've been with them throughout my PhD. I was there in Kanpur. I had this thing, and these organization had helped me to do my conduct the research work in the field. Not only conducting the research work, I did it, but they had helped me to get introduced with the community. It is so difficult to earn the respect and the credibility of the community, but because of this organization, I went on behalf of this organization. And then because I was there as a resource person for gender program and all that, so I was helping them for many occasions and all. They helped me back with earning the kind of credibility in the community, so that I could conduct the research work properly. So that is the strength of following the code of ethics in life. Satisfying basic human needs. Now, satisfying basic human needs is, it is see, there are, about Maslow theory, right? Physiological needs. So many needs are there, and then there is a conscientization on the top. So that is self-realization, where you do follow the proper code of ethics and all. So following the code of ethics, you would be, you become honest. For example, I'll give you an example. See, you can through businesses, for example, I'll give you, through business you can earn a lot of money. I'll talk about a person, X person. I have come to know he was a very big short person, and he used to kind of buy the land, construct the house, very 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 ordinary house, and then he used to sell it off. And then he used to tell, I'm buying this land and then selling it off. And that way he could earn so much of money within that. And he had a government service as well. So he had put all his family members and all there in his business to take care on his behalf during the time he's in the office. And he could mint money so quickly and so fast, and huge amount of money. And then this person would be irregular in the office, and would be cheating around in the office, and would be kind of gifting around to the colleagues and all, and then would earn a lot of respect, or throw weight here and there. And he would be very casual with his office work, right? Because he's earning a lot of money outside by buying the land and then making an ordinary house, telling people that I'm making for myself, leave for a few months, and then again selling it off, and then buying another more beautiful land, and then like that. So one fine day, suddenly the wife collapses. Then she suffers with a very, very critical heart disease. And uh, the husband himself comes, and then, and whatever he had earned, he says, oh, I'm so thankful to God. He could let me accumulate all this much of wealth, because this was ought to happen, that my wife was supposed to kind of fall sick. So he was thanking God. And then he sold, he could sell off a lot of money to make his wife come alive. But after a while, then everybody appreciated, okay, fine, you have got your wife back and all, she's all right, she's doing a little better and all. Then this person, going in his beautiful car, meets with an accident, and then lose his leg, you know and then he has this financial crunch, because very recently he was taking care of the wife. And then suddenly the whole amount of money, becomes less for him. Then he tries to take the PF and all from the office, and he comes begging, to everyone. And then his child falls sick. So, can you understand why I'm telling this story? It has a deep meaning. If you do not follow the code of ethics, the morality that is being universally practiced, one day, the day will come, you would be hit back. Because Prakriti is an organic Prakriti. I always made it a point that I tell in every presentation of mine, that Prakriti is organic. Whatever you are doing would be, the Prakriti is vigilant, and she knows it. It's a Shakti. She knows it. What best to give to you back, and what you give bounces it back. That's for the reason, Aurangzeb. That's for the reason, so many big people, Hitler could have been doing so great. Why Hitler had to kill ultimately himself? Can you kill yourself? No. An ethical person who would strive hard, and then it just something clicked my mind. A person in Bihar, you know it was a big rock was there. Because of that rock, his wife fell down. That wife was so loving wife, that she only wanted the lunch to be given to the husband, because she knew that the husband is working hard in the field. And then, in order to take the shorter route, what did she do? She climbed through that steep, rocky land, and then she fell down. And he realized that. And then, what he did? He started breaking that rock to create a road. And then today, his name is forever there in the archive, forever there in the history of India. Whenever we talk about goodness, ethics, morality, his name would be taken, right? He's just a very poor person that he could not hire another person. He was thirsty, he was hungry, he had to live with the water for many days, that are there in the soil. He had to suck that water. With in that condition also, his only vision was to let the people just move through that rocky land in a within no time, and peacefully, so that they could cross the road and then go the other side of the mountain. So that is the strength of following the code of ethics in life. And uh, you know um, and satisfying human needs, you can satisfy the human needs. Yes, need of the basic need physiology is what? The shelter should be there, the food should be there, and water should be there. But beyond that, the good house. And then these days, what I'm seeing all around is a person is buying the house after house, house after house. So greed would never be, you know, sufficient. I mean, you would never be able to quench the thirst of greed, but you needs, yes, you can fulfill the needs if you have a small agricultural land, you know. And that is being rightly being kind of understood very recently by many youths who are coming back from US, all the IT personnel and all who are earning in lakhs and lakhs every month. They are coming back, and many of my family members have come back. You know, they said, my God, we have money, we have everything out there, but we don't have, you know, they could understand living in their own country, living in their own society, living with the, you know, this, they have started valuing the soil so much, you know. So now see, some guru has to come up and then teach us the value of soil, but very, very soon we will be understanding, as the way the concretization is happening around the world, very soon we'll be understanding the importance of soil, understanding the importance of food, because a day would come when we have to break these walls, break this factory of houses to create agricultural land for us. So that is the, you know, that is what is very alarming. So because I don't know how the source of food, you know, and that's for the reason Israel kind of country is now focusing on growing food. They are arid land, but why they are focusing on the agriculture, the food supply? Because, you know, I remember, you know, there are a lot of people in the landlocked countries, you know, countries or state, like I'll give you example of Sikkim. You know, they had not been valuing the agricultural land, they have been selling, and then now still concretization is going, mass concretization is going, because they are making buildings after building in the name of organic farming. I mean, I could not see organic farming in and around Gangtok. When I went this time, very recently, I had visited that place, I could not see that. You know, I don't know where the organic farming is there, but every villages, they are coming up with concrete walls. So it is because there is a, you know, tourism, because tourism is very, very, you know, popular there, and it is fetching them good amount of money. So that's for the reason they are, you know, trying to have houses after houses. You know, if you go to that place, you'll get to see piles of, you know, piles after piles of houses there. And to my surprise, you know, I had gone visited earlier also. To my surprise, you know, now they are making a railway track also in the, and in, you know, they are trying to pierce through the you know, hilly terrains and all, which is going to hamper the geostatic of the earth one day, and the whole of that mountain area is going to collapse, and that would lead to, I can foresee that that place is going to have alarming repercussion. So it is very, very important, if somebody from Northeast is connecting here as a participant, we must be, it is a very alarming thing that we've got to really, you know, following it. Money is okay. How much money would be enough for a human being? It is like never sufficient, but we've got to stop somewhere. We have to seal it. We have to think about the environment. Who's going to think? Who's going to take the first step? And I'm hats off to the South Indians, you know, they are at least preserving that sanctity, I mean, I get to see many of the ITNs, they are coming, and I've very recently had I have friends and all who are from US, and they have come back and they are having organic farming, acres and acres of land they have bought, and they are doing organic farming in a real sense. So that should be the spirit, because that is sustainability ultimately. That's what I would like to let everyone know here. However, being unethical has many negative consequences. So following the path of unethical path is enjoyable. It is easier. It's easy to cheat people. It is very difficult to earn the respect and credibility. And earning the respect, see, I always post this Facebook post and all. I was just wondering, our forefather, what they used to leave. They used to leave beautiful stories. Like after our, I think, last to last generation have started becoming very materialistic. Otherwise, they used to leave, investment, we said. We call it investment. And the ethics says, okay, we have to invest the morality. What is right is what is right is we have to invest for the future use of our children, right? But what is code of ethics teaches us? We have to leave the property for our children, which are minimum, because nobody is going to be immortal here. We are mortal being. So it's a very strong message that I'm giving to one and all here, that we have to stop somewhere. And that if we can hoist the flag in every nook and corner of the country in order to show the feeling of nationalism, can't we feel for our earth? Can't we feel for our future generation what our forefather has left us with? Beautiful, clean, flowing river. I remember during our childhood, we used to go to river, early in the morning. It was 3 o'clock. Our brothers and all, they used to do the skating, and they used to take us towards the river. And then, and we used to learn how to swim. For girls, it was a little embarrassing, because those were the days, where we used to feel that one of the, in order to follow the path of morality, is feeling shy with your, with the male folk. In front of them, they would not do. I mean, today, it's like you become closer. You can talk anything to our parents and all. But I personally feel, yes, we can speak and be friend with our children, but it should be age appropriate. It should be time appropriate. It should be need appropriate. Sex education, yes, we have to give them, but it should be age appropriate. It should be time appropriate. It should be the situation appropriate. A small child, let the child be small with a lot of inquisitivity. We know a healthy mind is like a sponge, which still has a place to absorb the water. No matter how many drops of water you drop into the sponge, it would absorb. So let our children be treated as children. Bad touch, good touch, it's good. It's reasonable, but not beyond that. This is a culture of openness. I mean, code of ethics says that openness is gone fine, but not, it should be age appropriate, situation appropriate, and time appropriate. So now, if we don't follow the path of a code of ethics, what happened? Loss of trust. Being trusted is a big earning that you are going to have. Being trusted by your friend, being trusted by your husband, being trusted by your wife is a big earning that you've had in your life. If your wife is trusting you, that means you are a very, very moral being. And being trusted is that you have earned her. Some people threaten, do not come after me, whatever I do, you know. But some people, they don't have to, they don't check. The wife do not check, because they have that trust. They have, why they are trusting the husband? Because they have been seeing his behavioral pattern. They have been seeing his thinking, his behavior, his responses, the way he takes the responsibility, way he plays the roles. They are seeing that. And the same thing, we are, to all the parents who have participated today here, we don't have to teach our children code of ethics or morality. My parents have never taught me code of ethics. It's just that, till last generation, till our generation, we could just look up to our parents and learn everything, because they themselves became institute for ourselves, for us. They became institute for us to learn from. So that's how we have to lead our life. That's what is the code of ethics. That you are not supposed to teach the child verbally what is bad touch, what is good touch, what is, all that is not being taught. Too much of exposure too early is also very dangerous. So we have to teach the children morality, code of ethics, by practicing it as an elders, so that they can look up to you and learn from you, so that they can trust on you. They can have trust on you because you have earned it with your conduct, right conduct, with you being a good moral being, by you following all the codes of ethic. And favorism or nepotism. Now see, we are not supposed to see nepotism. This word is being so much now prevalent in Bollywood, So let me give the example. Why it is linked with the code of ethics. Your morality says that it is right that I am considering my cousin for the acting for this movie. Okay, because I can save up on my amount of money and all. If that cousin of your, if X is the director, and he or she is wanting to cast that particular character, right? But particular person for that particular character. So what will I do? I will choose not on the basis of he or she being your cousin, but he or she being the talented person, how hard he is worked, whether he is a trained artist or not. So all that you have to consider. You are not supposed to favor. If you are on the seat of, see, nepotism is there in the army also, where code of ethics has to be adhered to, because my mother-in-law belongs to, NSG. She's a first-class commander there. But she tells me that code of ethics is not even practiced by army. That's so big question. Not only Bollywood, but that has to be practiced in every, recruiting, and during the recruitment, during the, if you are casting somebody for any kind of work, give it to the skilled person, than choosing on the basis of your relationship, on the basis of which are, unethical. And, if we are unethical, there would be a lot of corruption. Why? Because you are favoring a very, untalented person over a talented person. So that itself is corruption, your corrupt mind. Because you are just favoring on the basis of your relationship. You are just recruiting on the basis of he or she being your people, or really, somebody coming from that religious background, and somebody coming from that particular community. So obviously, if there is loss, and hence there would be loss of trust. in the society. And crime rate, corruption is a step, first step to crime. Then bigger and bigger crime happens because there will be partnership. So corruption is the budding point, the germination of all the crimes that's happening in and around you, which you must be witnessing in the crime patrol and all that. So it's like there are many, these are all very conceptual. I would not detail it so much. These are, dimension of ethics and dimension of ethics again. And there are, these are again, see, this is ethics. Ethics is divided into deontology and teleological. Okay, deontology says right action, that means duty and rights, that you would be right thing you would be doing. And teleology is being good and looking into the consequences, whether if you are deciding something, because the repercussion would be happiness for everyone. That's for the reason Gandhiji has approved the partition of India, because there lie the happiness for both the communities. So sometimes, moral code of ethics and all, it is very difficult to practice. And there are a lot of criticism for the father of the nation, as he is the person behind the vision of the nation. But I mean, let us empathize with Bapuji, how he must have decided, being the forerunner in getting the independence from a foreigner, is from Britishers, it was not an easy task. He had to do a lot of manipulation. He had to rethink. He had to be logical. He had to kind of undergo a lot of tasting, trial and all. So on the basis of that, he must have decided, right? So and there is see, ethics again, ethics in private life and the public life. See, we do it, it's like private relation largely involve relation with family and friends, and then see, it is, we do not follow the ethics in our private life so much, because we get emotional about our emotional about our relationship, and 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 in public life, yes, code of ethics is very strongly being followed, because because that is a set governing rule, or that is a set guidelines that you need to practice. But it is always the in order to really realize the goals of sustainability, it is very, very important for all of us to follow the path of ethics, morality. I mean, I have already made you understand the difference between the morality and ethics. So we have to follow the path of ethics, moral code of ethics, in our private life too, so that our life would be meaningful. Sometimes I feel, a corrupt man is having a very good life, family life, because he has ample of money, is giving it away to his sisters, is giving it, distributing it among his relatives, is giving it away freely to his family, wife, children. They are enjoying, but the repercussion of it is in store for future. Because as I told, every corrupt dealings that we have, it is followed by some or the other result that is negative. So we've got to follow code of ethics in our personal life also. Yeah. So let me come back to the social work in particular. Like, you know, see, for example, see, we have this gender parity, right? I don't know if any participants can answer me this particular question. Uh, see, I would like to, Ravindra sir, if it is possible for some participant to really speak out, I would want somebody to respond me. Um, you know, if I am, for example, if I have, you know, if there is a lady, right, and I as a social work practitioners is very firm about gender parity, gender issues. Okay. And there is a lady who is trying to do good for the society. You know, what she's doing is, to those family who already before this our population, you know, control mechanism came into place, she already has 5 children. Okay, small children of 1 year, you know, difference. And then she's not able to take care of them, you know. And then, you know, this lady once tries to help that family by giving or you know, by giving her little babies to the for adoption to the childless families. And these childless families are being properly scrutinized and examined properly, assessed properly, and they are very good, and they would give a very good future to the children. Now, for a social work practitioner, if anyone is there now, as a social work practitioners, should I oppose that lady, or I should help that lady to do that? Whether she is immoral lady, and at the same time she's earning the money also, that family is giving the money to the family also, from where the child has come from, and some amount of money, little amount of ounce of money to this lady also, you know. So that's how she is sustaining, and then that's how she's targeting the families who are having many children, are not being able to take care. So instead of giving for all this homes and all children homes and all that, she is doing this sustainable, or what do I say, she feels that she's doing the sustainable activity or action. So is she right or wrong? Or if you can give it in the chat box, anyone, anyone can give it in the chat box if she is doing right or wrong. Sir, any answer is there? Hello, participants. Can I have your reactions?
Feel free to share your comments or observations or feedback. You can unmute yourself. If you have any problem, you can raise your hand.
Is it or not? I would like to know, because here, you know, this particular instance or situation, I, as a social work practitioner or educator, I'm little confused as, you know, what should we do? Whether I should allow this lady to function this way, that she's helping this family, and she's helping 2 families at a time, you know, taking the child, one of the child, and giving it away to the childless. So anyone who has a right answer? I don't have right answer myself. So anybody who has who wants to share, or Ravindra sir, if you can reflect on this in a line or 2.
Yeah. Good evening, madam.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Hello. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Bhushan sir?
This is Bhushan, and Associate Professor of Social Work.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you very much for your clear and enriching information on
Thank you,
ethics.
sir. Thank you.
And the first you said about the ethics is something like morals plus reasoning,
Yes.
and it is a philosophy. It
Yes.
is directly connected to the philosophy of life,
Yes.
and it is choosing of good and bad. So every individual has the choice of dealing with any situation as per his consciousness. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
again,
sir.
you said some determinants, which is religion, culture, background, everything matters. So once this is matters, and these determinants influences every individual.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say about this situation of this lady who is helping, and at the same time, whether she is doing legally or illegally, whether when the society look at her, and maybe they think it is illegal, and when she understands by herself her personal situation and the circumstantial situations, say that what she's doing is right. It is a very common feeling with every individual that when I do something according to my consciousness, I feel it is right. But at the same time, you should also see the perceptions of others, like family members, like society, what they are really feeling about it. What are the code of ethics in one's life? What is the religious background that is influencing that particular individual? Some people say, may defend that because the need. I need it. I want to survive in my life. I want to sustain in my life. There is no other means for me to live. So what I feel that what I do is right.
Yes.
But every individual definitely will have the inner consciousness. We cannot judge individual with our perceptions, but when you talk, when you ask that particular individual about how she's managing, how she's reacting, how she's handling the situations and all, and no doubt that particular individual has definitely her inner consciousness will have that answer. Only she can reveal that answer. We can judge with our knowledge, but to some extent it may be true, but to some extent we cannot expect the reality. Ethics is basically very personal. Ethics are very personal. We develop our ethics due to our background. Our background, see, when you don't have food to eat, when you don't have, you are suffering with utmost poverty, definitely the person may become thief, or definitely he may do some illegal things to survive himself. He may say that hunger is, crime is not my mistake, it is the mistake of my hunger.
Hunger, yeah.
So we cannot, it is okay, by statement it is fine. But when it is the legal point of view, ethical point of view, it is very wrong.
Yes.
So like that, there
So,
are always
exactly,
some contradictions, and there are some contradictions, and also situational analysis is very important. And I personally feel that that particular individual should be understood very closely to understand what is right. That's what I feel, madam.
Yes. Thank you so much for your very insightful, explanation,
Thank you.
sir. And yes, thank you so much.
Right.
And
Thank
rightly,
you.
yes, that's for the reason, non-cooperation movement,
Yeah.
the SALT, yeah, that's for the reason non-cooperation movement, for untouchability, what Baba Sahib has
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
I mean, all this, that he did not adhere, or he did not cooperate with the society, that because every human being is equal, hence every resource that are existing in the environment is for equal sharing. No community or particular group has a right over the resource. It's the Prakriti that has given, and if she has given birth to every individual on this earth, that means every individual is equal by the virtue of their birth on this earth. So that is what is, uh, you know, uh, that is what is being followed by Gandhiji, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. That's for the reason, but I mean, recent, incident of the child being killed for having, a Dalit child being killed for having, having guts to drink water from the pitcher of his teacher. That's again very saddening, because it's very sad, because neither his morality has worked, the teacher's morality has worked, nor the code of ethics. And both the thing teaches that you are supposed to, you know, kind of give dignity to every individual. And then, every individual is equal, and every individual needs are equal. And if that child has felt thirsty and wanted to drink water, maybe he did not get anywhere, there is no tap, so he drank water from the pitcher, and that must have been surely given by somebody. So there must have been a good arrangement for the children, otherwise, if he or she was not supposed to do. So there are many things, there are many, rightly said that, when it comes to code of ethics, it is very, very difficult task for social work practitioners to kind of really follow the code of ethics. That's for the reason I have focused on logical reasoning. I've focused on what is best suited for that particular situation, for that particular person, for that particular family, that needs to be taken care of. And where is this? Now, see, there are many things that are there. There are many, many occasions that are there where code of ethics, following the code of ethics is very, very difficult, right? So I would now switch on to my next PPT, where I would be talking about code of ethics. Let me just share it. On codes of ethics, rather. Just a second. Nisha? Yeah. Nisha? Oh, it's not opening. Okay. Now see, need for ethical behavior in social work and purpose of code of ethics. Now, why is it very, very necessary, or very, very, important for the social workers, professional, to follow the code of ethics. And what is the purpose that it serves? What is the purpose code of ethics serves to the profession? That I would be explaining. This is again the very fundamental, which I've already talked about. So, need for the ethical behavior in social work. Now, see, it is very, very important for social worker to follow the code of ethics, because we, as a professional, we would be handling a diverse group. For example, there are six methods in social work. We would be dealing. The primary method is the casework, group work, and community organization, and then social action, social welfare administration, and social work research. Okay, these are the last three which I have talked about is auxiliary method. First method, that means we have to deal with the individual, we have to deal with the group, and we have to deal with the community. It is very, very important for us to follow the path of code of ethics, because for us, client is very, very significant. And sometimes what happens is, it is mostly, not sometimes, mostly the client, they, in the process of taking the help by the professionals, caseworker, group worker, community organizer, whenever they are social actionists or the activists, when they are taking the help, it is very natural for them to share many secrets of their life in order to resolve the present situation that they are in. I talked about in the beginning psychological and social. Yeah, so psychology is all to do with feelings, thinking, responses to different stimuli, the behavioral pattern, all that. And attitude, I'm talking about. See, attitude, all this feeling, thinking, thinking pattern, all that is your attitude. It's like an iceberg. The behavior is the tip of the iceberg, where you exhibit your attitude, your behavior, your attitude, your feeling, thinking pattern. Inside, what is happening, the self, yourself is being portrayed outside with the help of behavior, right? So it is very, very important for us to understand how we are behaving. The self-awareness, that is called, self-introspection. We have to understand whether I as a professional is free of all the biasness, whether I as a person is not having a nepotistic view. Sorry, I mean, it's like a very partial view about some community, or having some kind of what do I say, having some kind of mm, contempt feeling towards some community or some religious group. We as a social work practitioners have to be very, very aware of our own biasness before we become a professional. We have to clean ourselves from inside, and we have to portray ourselves as a very, very exemplary person, because they are going to look up to us, and somebody in this life is in a problem because of his psychological and social, in his psychological and social milieu, and somebody requires help, immediate help. So we are not supposed to, we have to abide by the principles of social work, like individuality, self-determination, confidentiality. Now if I have to talk, I'll just stop on this, that confidentiality, for example. Now some person, the client has come to you, and then in sharing the about his relationship with the wife, and they are not in a good term these days, right? So because of that, his mental health is ruining, right? So just it's like not having a proper relationship with his wife or not going in proper tandem. What is the reason? Because the wife is spending a lot of hours in the mobile, exploring, being so ambitious, for example, right? So, and then this a person reveals that I'm doubtful about her character too, right? So now the problem is mental health, right? You are trying to recover him of the mental health, which is non-clinical in nature. There are clinical and non-clinical, right? So you are helping through counseling and all that to the person. And then, the psychotherapist is there, and you as a social worker, you have to work with many other professionals, and you have to be respecting all that. And one of the code of ethics says, so in the beginning when I started the code of ethics has to be practiced as a professional, as a self, and with the client, with the colleague, with the profession itself, and with the agency you are working with, and for the society good, for the overall societal welfare, that you have to focus on. So you have so many kind of purposes that needs to be fulfilled with your own behavior, with your own attitude, right? The innate characteristics as a person, your own character or personality. So it has to be molded in a manner so that you fit into all that aspect of moral being, or following all the aspect of code of ethics as a professional. So you as a professional have to work with so many other colleagues belonging to different areas or walks of life, because this person needs help. Now, psychotherapist, I can always talk about his depression, right? But in order to reveal the human character, in order to reveal her spending a lot of time in the mobile, exploring things, that could be just because of her profession, because she must be, for us as a professor, we have to explore, 24/7 we have to be with our mobile, because we have to explore different at a different level. We have students that are calling, we have HY, the head of the department, who's there 24/7. We have to be answerable to the VC madam, we have to be answerable to every questions of the parents. So we have to be 24/7 with the mobile. So you have to, so here the code of ethics, the principle you have to use is, should not judge the wife, because she just because her gender is opposite to you, you're not supposed to. And then because of the societal norms that woman has to be submissive to the husband, that does not mean you as a professional should judge the wife, that, oh, she's spending most of the time on a mobile, that means she's not working. She must be getting up early in the morning and cooking and taking care of the children, food and everything, and she must be exploring many things. And this person has taken her exploring the world in a wrong manner, and the problem might be lying in the man, the mind of the attitude of the man, that he must be a very staunch patriarchic, kind of outlook he must be having. So that is again very, very nicely or meticulously that needs to be studied, right? So, so you are supposed to reveal in a way that is not going to affect this professional perception about the wife. You have to reveal, but with the permission of the client as well, with the taking the wife in loop, and then you can always very professionally share the reason of his mental health. Okay, and then that's how you would be able to kind of adhere to the code of ethics, that you did not let anyone get affected. You have kept everyone in the loop, and at the same time you are sharing with your co co-workers who are from different walk of life, and they are important in resolving the problem of mental health issues, or if it is clinical, then a psychiatrist, right? So it is very, very important. So interaction with the client and their significant information that needs to be shared in a manner that is not ugly for the client, for yourself, and for other professional, and the very purpose of sharing, that needs to be taken care. The next is social workers are often in situation where their decision can cause damage to the client. So, see now, if the man feels that the wife should be loving, respectful, I should not name that man as, yes, he is very, very, his outlook is like he wants, he is very patriarchal kind of, patriarchic kind of outlook he has. He is not even, he's not respecting the woman. It is not that. As a man, yes, you have a right to be respected by your wife. If she doesn't respect, that means there is a problem in the marriage. There is a problem in the relationship. You need to respect your spouse, and that is a universal morality that we follow. That's a universal code of conduct that we follow, universal code of ethics that we follow, that we have to respect our spouse, right? So you should not, if you are a very, very staunch, gender, or feminist, you should not have that extreme feminist ideology. As feminism is all to do with seeing the man and woman as equal, and having a partnership, a very cordial partnership with each other, so that for the well-being of the whole family. So that concept should be clear on your mind while dealing with the client. If he's saying, the wife, being a wife, can't I deserve the respect from my wife as a husband, as a father of the house? Yes, of course. As a father of the house, he has a right to be respected. So that is how you have to have a very, very fair outlook, as a professional. Social worker occupy position of authority in governmental and non-governmental organization. So, as a social worker, you have that authority. And now, just for your information, students, we do not have a council as of now, but it's in a process of making. Very, very soon we'll be having a council, like, the bar council for the legal form, and then for, the healthcare practitioners, they have their own, their council. And then we are going to soon have the council. Okay, so, and then we would be a mainstream professional after that, because the guidelines and everything, yes, we have to abide by the UGC guidelines to give guidelines, but over the social work fraternity, there is going to be a very good umbrella organization that's going to give us a proper code of ethics. Because till now, code of ethics that I am explaining you today comes from a multiple sources, from UK, USA, from Australia. We have amalgamated and we have suiting the, trying to suit the culture, the condition, the situation in India. We try to give you many, the code of ethics. Okay, so we have to understand that we are a person who are answerable to all our decision or all our conduct. So we have to maintain the dignity of every individual in the society. We need to be accountable for what we speak, what we do, how we deal, how we process things. We have to be very, very conscious being. So position where they can allocate resources. Now see students, I mean participants, as a social worker, we have resource at our disposal, right? In the agency itself is a big resource as an institute, or our own institute. It could be educational, it could be spiritual institute, it could be political institute, any institution. But particularly when I'm talking about social work, we have agency as an institute, right? So it has resources. We are not supposed to randomly distribute. I'll just give you an example of Prayagraj, there in Uttarakhand, where I'll still talk about this World Vision India. When many organizations had gone there during that flash flood, they were distributing. There was a lot of chaos. There were, after the aftermath also, there were a lot of bad impact, because what people were doing is, they were trying to distribute the food and clothes and everything from the helicopter. They were just throwing it randomly, and some of the very important resources which they required were falling into the river, into the uh, marshy land, or not unfit land and all, where the things were spoiling. But when World Vision India, it entered, it worked at tandem with the Home Ministry. So what they did the baseline survey, which place is very much affected, and how many people are affected. They took account of the casualty. They took account of which all are mostly, they made a kind of bifurcation: mostly affected, highly affected, mediocrely affected, and lowly affected. So they targeted the highly affected areas, and then they made a kind of such kind of way to land the helicopter somewhere nearby. And then they started distributing with the help of army men and all that. They started conducting the proper research, and that's how this is code of ethics is. We have got the resources because there are ample of people who would be donating. You all must be, most of you must be a social budding social worker. So students, you must be just doing the internship. Learn this, that we have resources at our disposal. We are supposed to use them sensibly. We are not supposed to scatter it all around. We are not supposed to just, without understanding, give it. That's for the reason we have, see, so many legislation in place. But why is the beneficiaries still beneficiaries in our country? Because the benefits, the services are not reaching to the needy, the real needy. It is just getting, scattered somewhere, the middleman, So monitoring body has to be very strong. And being a social worker, very strong area where we can, strongly work is monitoring. As a monitoring body, we can form a very strong monitoring body to look into the area where, if there is corruption, if there is bad handling of the resources, if services are not getting, if the legislations are not getting converted into services, and if those services are not reaching to the real needy, that needs to be looked into. Social worker must preserve professional autonomy. Now, as a social worker, you must, work in autonomy, in the sense you must work with your own mind. You are not supposed to come under the influence of bureaucrats. You're not supposed to come, kind of under the influence of political power. Yes, political power, you have to work in tandem with the political power. You have to, because they are the stakeholders. You have to work in tandem with the agencies, other agencies, they are the stakeholders. You have to work in tandem with the other professionals. That is true. And if you have to release a fund for doing something, converting the legislation or schemes into services, it is the huge load of approval that you have to take as a professional. You are not supposed to dwindle there. You are not supposed to get frustrated, because you have to take a long, journey through, following the code of ethics, proper ethics, because we have chosen this profession, we have to understand to follow the ethics. And I must tell you, very, very good thing, last, I think it was on Sunday, Ravindra sir, if he remembers it, I was the first presenter. But, since my home is getting shifted, I'm like, now in a bad situation. I've, by the grace of God, I've got a new house, my own house. So we are shifting. So, some laborers had come. My husband was not there, so he had to deal with something else, and then I had to address all the problems of the laborers and all that. Making the payment and this, that. So many issues were there. So I got late, and I informed Ravindra sir beforehand, early morning only, and then he kept my presentation at the end. And I was okay about it. I was very happy, in fact. I learned the lesson that no matter you are a professional, but following the code of ethics is very, very important in every step of life. And he was supposed to give me somewhere in the middle. I said, sir, I will present at the end because I'll wait. And I waited from 11 o'clock because it was on, system was on, and then I joined at 12:45. I waited till 8 o'clock, 8:30, I suppose, or 8 o'clock, to present my paper. So that is what is the patience. We have to have patience. Without patience, nothing would work. And every good thing requires patience. For example, if I talk about farming these days, people are injecting, people are doing a lot of, mishandling with the plants and all. They are trying to grow vegetables overnight. What is happening? We are suffering with cancer. Cancer cells is erupting in every body, healthy body. Why cancer is prevalent everywhere? Because all this kind of food is getting into our system, right? But earlier farmers, the organic farmers, what did they do? They took care of the animal. They had a lot of patience. So they could live, and Prakriti also supports them. Like my father is at present 84 years and living very healthy life. And next generation, I don't know how long our longevity would be, so long we would be able to live or not, because we have become impatient. And today's social media has taught us to be impatient. And today, children are starting with their professional lives since childhood and all. So, the when you reach that maturity, that is what is being very well depicted by the life of Sri Devi in Bollywood. She said somewhere down the line, I was reading about her, there was a hint about, those who start too early would be very frustrated towards the end, So you have to, something that occurs slowly would go for a long time. And, the health is the amalgamation of social, psychological, spiritual, mental. So many things are there to maintain a healthy body. So we should not be in a hurry. We should be patiently, waiting. We should be patiently handling the dealing, because that is what makes us a distinct professional. That's what is going to be our code of conduct that is going to be prescribed and ascribed by the council that is yet to come, but very, very soon we'll be having. So it's my earnest request that we as a social work professional would abide by code of ethics. Ravindra sir, if you can give me 5 minutes, there is another PPT which has very important matter. If I can little, go ahead for
Yes,
10
ma'am.
minutes. Yes?
Yeah, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, so much. So I would be sharing with you the third PPT. I prepared well for you, students, so I will not let it go waste. A model code of ethics for Indian social workers here. See, I would not talk so much here because I've already explained the model code of ethics for Indian social workers. See, code of ethics, when we are saying, it is not the, I have already told you, we don't have council as yet. We have NAPSWI, which you all must be knowing. It's a, professional body, and it does not give us guidelines, anything. And whatever code of ethics that is prevailing for social worker comes from many countries. Yes. And so it's amalgamation of many philosophies that we have adapted. But I am very proud to say that this code of ethics has intrinsic values, core values, and those core values comes from India, our motherland, our soil, and that is service, social justice, dignity and worth of the person, importance of human relationships, integrity, competence. See, when I'm talking this, yesterday my colleague had shared something very interesting, and my only response to that post was, give back our Kohinoor. That was the immediate response that I made. So what is that she shared is, she says, it is a British family, English family. So they are all sitting together, and then they are different generation of the family. I think 4 or 5 generations they are sitting together, right? So let us take example of Elizabeth family. So 3 generation of the family are sitting, and then they says pyramid is so beautiful. The pyramid is so beautiful. Then the present generation, very contemporary generation says, pyramid is beautiful, but you cannot get it to UK. You cannot get it to England, she says. And then, what she's hinting is, everything beautiful you are trying to steal from across the countries, across the world. Right? So what I mean to say is, we have invited the East India Company as a company, because what we say, our guest is like God. With that bhavna on our mind, with that feeling, the utmost gratitude to the guest, we have invited them. But how they have looted us. So you can understand how our value system is, how our, Indian values is. So our code of ethics is supposed to be adhered to, because it comes from our tradition. It comes from our holy land. So core values are what? Service. That means we are supposed to be serviceful. We whatever office we are sitting in, we have to, and for whatever reason we are sitting, occupying that chair, we have to be answerable to that chair. Yes, you get benefited. See, I as a professional social work educator, I'm being benefited because with the help of Amity University, affiliation, I'm here invited as a professional by Ravindra sir, right? So yes, I'm being benefited, but what I'm doing, I'm giving a service as a lecture. So is it that I'm not following the code of ethics, and I'm not told that I'm presenting here on behalf of Amity University today? I'm not told, but I would be uploading there in my APR, that is annual assessment that the HOI conducts, right? They have to examine us as how vibrant the candidate, the professional is, after having affiliation with the Amity University. So they are going to judge us, they are going to assess us, examine us as how professionally she's conducting outside of Amity University. So you have to be answerable to your chair, and make sure as a social work practitioner you give your utmost service. If you are a practitioner or educator, make sure your service is being not felt by you, but felt by the beneficiaries, felt by the students. That yes, when she teaches not only from the book, not only from the PPT, but she gives a lot of other feedback which would turn the life of a person. So I as a professional, I as an individual, I make it a point that whatever I've learned through my parents, through my socialization through my understanding, through my, doing wrong, and then, bumping into the problems, what I have learned, because when you make mistake, then you learn more. So I must have learned all this through my mistakes, that I admit. And then what I'm teaching today comes from my experience. So that's my service to the society. That's my service as an educator. Next is social justice. Now, social justice is what? Social justice is, every individual that are born in this society is equal. But what? There are, there have been a lot of cultural taboos. There have been a lot of appetites. There have been a lot of prejudices against certain community on the basis of caste, on the basis of community, on the basis of religion, on the basis of disability, on the basis of gender, like transgender. So we are not supposed to, yes, of course, we are supposed to differentiate, but differentiate with protective justice. We are supposed to give them equity. They are not equal. We are not born equal. Yes, our physique, some are born disabled, some doesn't have vision, some are born. Now, since Varna system have been there, so such people, on the basis of Varna, the atrocities have been done. They have not been, the examples are, the Eklavya, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, such atrocities. But what did that child do after he grew? Did he hit back to those community? He felt for the need for everyone to get educated, and he felt even for the opposite sex, opposite gender. There are women. He is the first person to have come ahead to ask for the justice for women. If men needs education, female also needs education. No matter if they are taking care of the children and taking care of the household chores, but educated woman would have a very productive family. And one girl child, if you educate, the whole family will be educated, the whole community will be educated. So that is what is social justice. That, see, social justice have been given to Dr. Bhimrao. He belonging to Mahar community. He's been given education and he's here. He's given a big gift to the country. God has, and wherever we are thrown in this earth is all decided by God. And karma also matters a lot. Karma plays a very important role. But the functioning that we are doing is determined by some, invisible soul that is roaming all around. What the roles that we are being given is all addressed and looked after by Him, the Almighty. So we have to understand that everyone is born equal. We have to understand, if by any chance they are not born equal, we have to bring in equity at their doorstep, so that we follow the code of ethics. Following the code of ethics, we have to make sure that unequally born person should get all the privileges, all the schemes, all the facilities as a privileged one, right? So we should not, and something that is not good for the whole society, not good for the whole community of human being, is not good for everyone, So casteism with atrocities was not good, but casteism with protective justice, social justice is okay. They are giving protective facilities, they are giving some kind of solace to whatever they have missed out. So social justice is very important. That means treating everyone equal, though they are unequal in so many regards. Dignity and worth of the person. Dignity and worth of the person is that we have to understand every being has a dignity. If you have a worker maid in your house, if you have a this cleaner coming and picking your garbage in the morning, your trashes in the morning, I make it a point that they are born unequal. They are born in a family where that has become their occupation. We have to empathize with them, and not only empathize, and we have to be grateful to them, because during the COVID, people who have survived, our PM Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, what did he say? 3-4, professional that has made our life continue are doctors, the health practitioners, and the spiritual leaders, and the cleaners. So health practitioners and cleaners are at par, because we make it dirty, they clean it. So who is bigger? Who is playing the role? That's for the reason Gandhiji has given them the name. What is the name that is being given? So you question yourself why that name has been given to them. Because they are the hidden hand of the God. If the cleaners are not there, we would be sitting in disease. One day, 2 days, 3 days, if cleaners had not come, abided by the protocol of the COVID, like us, like teachers, we would have been all succumbed to death today because of the garbage all around. So this is what is very important for every human being to understand. Importance of human relationship. So importance of human relationship is, as a professional, you are not supposed to say, okay, this person is very useful for me, let me respect this person, and student, they are at my disposal, so no respect. You have to respect everyone, whether you are at the giving end or the receiving end. You have to respect everyone. And human relationship is this earth, in my own personal life, very recently I met my whole friends who are now, they are at some, doing some good work. They are some homemakers. They are professionals in different walks of life and all. So since, and we were just trying to like recherish our lost days, during the time we were in the hostel and all. So all of them had good things to talk about, recall, so, I mean, and it is being rightly said that the biggest wealth is the wealth which we are carrying with our name, that what we leave with our attitudes and behavior in this world, that's going to prevail and go forever. We don't have to invest for our children. Invest in our morality, code of ethics, and God will make sure that that huge investment would be saved as a blessing in the, in a way of job, in a way of many things, houses, the kind of environment you are living, the kind of relationship. That is what, Hindu religion has a strong point in it, that they say, what we do in our previous karma, we have to face in this our life, right? So somewhere down the line, we can connect to this, that, your karma at the present time, previous life. So that means karma not only, at the present situation, karma not only to show, is your karma is your goodness is not only to show it to the world, but to be practiced in your dream as well. Your character or your personality is what you do in the dark room, is the only way or the absolute way I can explain you what it means by importance of human relationship, that you must have dignity. How you kind of look at the other person is not how much you can derive from that person. When you have positivity, all the goodness will just get uh, get collected. And it's from my own personal life I'm sharing with you all, that if you are good, the whole your body is a magnetic body. The earth is a magnetic body, right? This if you throw the apple up, it will fall down, the gravitational pull. So even our body is made out of soil, water, and everything. As my father used to teach us, that our body is made out of 5 elements of nature. So that 5 elements of nature has magnet in it. So we have to understand our body is magnet, and we are supposed to follow the code of ethics even in the dark room. Integrity is what? Being truthful, being answerable. Your truthfulness would help you to earn. Earning money is not difficult in today's time. Sitting at home, the homemakers are earning in lakhs and lakhs, more than educators they are earning. But how you are earning would determine your life, would determine your karma, would determine what is the gift that Prakriti is waiting for you. In a very spiritual sense also, I'm telling you, to all the social workers, that we have to have this integrity intact. No matter people are seeing, no matter you are working individually, but make sure integrity in your research work also is maintained forever. It's not during the time, till the time you are retired, you'll follow. And after that, no, it's not required. I've done my best. When I said, my God, how could you really kind of, hold on to this integrity? Oh, my God, I've done enough. Now I'll live a very, very, very open life, a very carefree life. No, you are not supposed to be carefree anytime. Every step that you make, बोलते हैं हम लोग हिंदी में, कदम फूक फूक कर लेना चाहिए. So the same way, we have to be very careful about our truthfulness. Then only we can earn respect. We can earn the trust of people. We can earn the credibility. Competence. we as a professional, and this one, for this, explaining this one, I would want to really focus on the government servant, right? I have been very fortunate that my first year of employment, soon after my MSW, I think I had not even completed my MSW, and I got through in UNICEF. And then, I started working there. And then I got through as a lecturer. And, and then, it was a government university. And then then I got married, and then I have to shift to Lucknow, and then because my husband was posted there, so soon after that, wherever he got posted, I followed him, because we had decided that we would be together forever. We can't be forever together, but we can decide to be together. So until we are alive. So then, after that is all divine, work. So we are not worried about that. So what is competences? See, I have seen the government servants, once they get employed, they are at rest. Okay, fine. We don't have to do much. It's just that the APR, that will do minimum, and then we'll be getting promoted in our due course of time. So that is the mentality. And in order to do one tiny work, even I'm talking about a big institute like JNU, I've seen that. Big institute like DU, I've seen that, because I belong to that, university. I've done throughout, from Miranda House to Delhi School of Economics to Delhi School of Social Work. No, it is wrong. It is absolutely immoral. It is not following the code of ethics. As a human being, we also have a universal code of ethics. That means wherever we are, whichever chair we are, we have to be competent. We have to build in, nobody comes with equal competence. Some have equal potentiality, but we have to build up on our potentiality by striving hard, by working hard. And as rightly being taught by our Kanha, whose birth is today, what he said, no matter what happens, you keep striving for your best. You keep working hard. You keep striving, and keep your karma would just go on and on and on. Today, somebody's, my colleague's mother expired, and she went on to be at the feet of, lotus feet of God. And then my HOI just wrote it, that let her soul rest in peace. And but the life continues. So life continues forever. We are alive today. Our next generation will be there. Next to next generation would come. But all that is going to sustain our Mother Earth, all that is going to sustain our flora and fauna, all that is going to sustain our chair, that is going to sustain our profession, is with the practice of code of ethics. Nothing more than that. Code of ethics in our both professional life and our personal life. We can't be right all the time. We can't follow code of ethics all the time, but we have to strive hard. We have to work hard. We have to introspect, and then try to overcome on our own difficulties to adhere to the code of ethics. With this, I extend my heartfelt thanks with pranam to Ravindra sir for having given this opportunity to me to speak out my heart, to speak out my soul, in order to make all of you, all my students, understand the code of ethics. There are more, but I think I've already taken a lot of time. So next time, students, if at all Ravindra sir has some slot free, I would be talking about it. I think I over-prepared, but I have spoken my heart out. With this, thank you to you, Ravindra sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Really, we see the same energy with which you have started.
We see the same energy with which
And,
you have started.
It's almost 2.5 hours, and you
Almost
still continue
2.5
to be
hours,
with the same
and
energy.
you still continue to be.
So this gives, the kind of uh, preparation, the kind of commitment, the kind of perseverance you take up in your activity or in your task, that itself shows, in spite of having so much work schedule, especially being a woman, managing home and at the same time managing academics is not an easy task. And above that, preparing for such a sessions, with some extracurricular activities, really you did a wonderful job, and this gives us inspiration, everyone here, in spite of so many things. And adding to that, today we have a festival also, so in spite of so many challenges also, you performed very well. And, uh, that's really, what women can do when they are rightly motivated and given an opportunity and supported. It's just a small glimpse, I think, what when we talk about gender equality, or when we talk about sustainable development, these are very much important, and especially when we talk about ethics and morals. This is very important at a personal level, as you rightly pointed out. At a personal level, yes, it is very much important, because that makes us stand apart from the crowd, as well as maintains to help our integrity. At the same time, at a professional level or at a society level, it helps us to maintain our profession, integrity of the profession, and also define our profession to the standards. It's a very well portrayed, and yeah, definitely the time was short, but no, we can take it up definitely whenever the time permits. We would be very happy to accommodate you or invite you for that matter. We would be, uh, in fact, grateful to you if you can continue this to on any another day. So, for that matter, so it was really wonderful session. In fact, I am not getting words to express myself after listening to so much, you know. So it was really indeed a great session today, and we really enjoyed. And the kind of efforts you have taken are really commendable. With the inputs, we always have this moral and ethical dilemma almost every day. Maybe for some, almost every moment, whether to do it or not to do it. If we have to do it, at what cost we have to do it. So these kind of dilemmas we always go through. The example you quoted, where a mother has to take care of her survival, at the same time her family, and at the same time her children also. This kind of dilemma, whether if she still continues, she is not sure whether she will be able to manage, and how long she will be able to manage, sustain herself and her children. What if entire resources got exhausted, and tomorrow the children has no scope for anyone, at least. So I think maybe one perspective or one thought is, by giving a scope, by giving one of the children for adoption, she can secure at least one child a bright future, and at the same time, the same resources can be used for the present existing child, so that she can secure the other child also. This kind of, yes, morally, no mother would like to depart from her own child. That is the greatest decision a mother can take ever. But in spite of that, if she has decided so, she has overcome such a moral dilemma, and in the best interest of the child, if she is taken that decision, I think, if I am in that place, definitely I would recommend that, because for me also as a social worker, it is important to secure both the lives of the mother and child. And in the best interest of that, I would also recommend that mother can, following all the legalities and all the, formalities, ensuring that the child is safe, and mother is also getting some kind of support, that will help them to have one more family who can really care for them. So that kind of moral dilemmas are there, though there will be criticism and everything will be there. That's how the things are. But still, even if one looks at an humanitarian way or with a humanity perspective, that is the best thing anyone can do. Otherwise, we have to support them financially. If she has taken that such a decision, then she has considered all the options. Now the only option left is either we have to support, or we, in the sense the society or the community, has to support. Otherwise, either government has to support. Otherwise, something like this has to come up, which can support. So considering all, and assuming that it is a last option, so that would be the best decision. Of course, there are many other alternatives, as like even Bhushanji also mentioned. There are a lot of factors: physiological, social, cultural, religious factors that are always there. The kind of situation, circumstances they are living in. Like these, every time we also face whether to go or whether not to go, whether to present or not to present ourselves in a situation or in a circumstance. So whether to go forward or whether to come backward or whether to stay at the same place, these all kind of moral dilemmas are always there. So very well given with examples, even in professional also, like similar, you have very well quoted. Social worker, most of the times face these kind of dilemmas, moral dilemmas. Now what to do, what not to do. Now this is a kind of situation. So very well articulated and presented about ethics, morals, and code of this ethics and morals, man. It was really indeed a wonderful session from you. Participants, if you have any queries, quickly we can take it. Or if you have any feedback or observations, we can quickly have, then we can conclude session. And really, above all, we should thank you, because you are also there connected since 6 o'clock, and it's almost 8:45. So even we forgot the time also, for that matter. Unless and until ma'am stopped, I just looked at the time. What's the time? We already we complete 2 hours, but we exceeded 2 hours. See, that kind of engagement is really not possible so easily without much experience or expertise, even in terms of delivery. So participants, you can feel free to share your feedback. You can unmute yourself one by one, or you can share in chat box, or you can raise your hand.
Yeah. This is Dr. Bhushan.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Bhushanji, please continue.
Okay. So first, I congratulate Madam for his very clear and very informative and also enriching. As he said, it's really, it is not just sharing the information, but it is sharing something experienced by her and expressed from the soul. This is what I found in that. And I just say few things about this ethics. When every individual thinks whether ethics is it necessary for life, this is a basic confusion of everyone. And I say the word life indicates that live for ethics. Life, life is live for ethics. So there is no other alternative for that. One has to think of living on morals, on values and ethics. And ethics is always focused at the character of every individual. As a social work educator, I used to explain my students, social worker has no instrument to work with as doctors do, as engineers do. But the social workers has only one instrument, that is character. As madam said, when the social worker, a professional social worker has to deal with many settings and many other individual professionals. So a social worker can approach everybody only through his character and through his professionalism. So please focus at every individual's learning process, character building process, and his subjectivity, objectivity. All this is very important for every social work educators. So thank you so much. And it's a good opportunity for everyone to learn more about this code of ethics and practices, and also some kind of examples what madam has given. It is true that the role of social worker is very critical in the society today, but still then it is a long journey. We all need to travel a lot to understand the difficulties to build a better society. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. K.V. Bhushanji, for your thoughts, sharing your thoughts. Anyone else would like to share? Mary ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, ma'am. Actually, I've seen you in many sessions. Your session is very wonderful, but I didn't get opportunity to tell. But today you have done really justice, 200% justice. You lived like a MSW today. So I am very happy that I am also from the same profession and excellent. No words to tell. Like you've done 300% justice to the top. My hearty congratulations to you. God bless you, ma'am. All the best for your life.
Thank you, ma'am.
Take care, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Anyone else would like to share? Feel free to share your observation, comments, or any clarifications. We can quickly take up. Okay. If there are no other queries or clarifications, you can always use this feedback form to share your queries or clarifications or comments. We will get back to you, or we will inform the speaker also later on and get back to you if you need further clarification. And we have shared the feedback form in chat box. Kindly fill up the feedback form. And thank you, ma'am, once again for joining us and for your wonderful presentation. And we wish you all the success for all your future endeavors and look forward for more sessions in future. On behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing, and also on behalf of all the participants, we wish you all the success, ma'am.
Thank you, Ravindra sir. Okay then. Thank you all the participants.
Thank you, ma'am, and happy Krishnashtami to you and your family.
Yes, thank you, sir, and happy Janmashtami to you also.
Thank you, ma'am. So, dear participants, we are waiting for you to fill up the feedback form. kindly fill up the feedback form, and whoever has filled the feedback form can take leave for the day. And happy Krishna Janmashtami to all of you. Have a great festive today, and see you all tomorrow at the same time with a different topic. And this Sunday, we are having a conference. Like every Sunday, we organize conference from 11 to 5, and every day we are having international webinar 6 to 8 on different topics. So if you are willing to contribute as a resource person, you can contact me. Contact number has been shared. You can visit the website where you can find all the details of how to go about it, and the registration and all the formalities. So you can visit the website, which is shared in the chat box, and you can use the registration form to register and share details so that we can schedule your session after completing all the formalities. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we are really happy to have all of you on board. Kindly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform.
मेरा नाम ही इंद्रजीत।
हेलो,
नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते, बोलिए।
हाँ, मेरा नाम है इंद्रजीत मूला, मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से हूँ।
हाँ, बोलिए।
हालांकि मेरा 15 अगस्त को मेरा एक कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था आपका ही। हाँ, उसमें हमने प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया था, लेकिन मैं तो रिसर्च स्कॉलर हूँ, और मैं तो वो जो सर्टिफिकेट तो हमने डाउनलोड करने के लिए बहुत कोशिश की है, लेकिन तो नहीं मिल रहा है। हालांकि जरूरत तो है।
कौन सा डेट पे किए आपने प्रेजेंटेशन?
हाँ, मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन भी मैं दिया था।
वही कौन सा डेट पे, किस कॉन्फ्रेंस में किए थे?
15 अगस्त को।
हाँ, 15 अगस्त बोल तो टाइम लगेगा अभी, क्योंकि उस दिन में कई स्पीकर्स है और थोड़े ऐसे ज्वाइन हुए कि जब भी ज्वाइन हुए तो उसका पूरा वेरिफिकेशन करना पड़ेगा। वो प्रोसेस में है, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा। वो वैसे भी हमारा एक स्टैंडर्ड पॉलिसी है 15 दिन का, तो उसके अंदर आपको मिल जाएगा। वो पूरा डिटेल्स इंस्ट्रक्शंस वेबसाइट में है।
मेल पे आएगा?
नहीं, वो वेबसाइट पे डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा। स्पीकर्स को हम पर्सनली भेजते हैं, लेकिन देखेंगे वो स्पीकर्स भी उस दिन स्पेशल कॉन्फ्रेंस था, वो 75 स्पीकर्स 75 बोल के 75 स्पीकर्स ऑन ओकेशन ऑफ 75 इयर्स ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस। तो देखेंगे कैसे किया जाएगा। तो 75 स्पीकर्स को अलग अलग भेजना पड़ेगा, या तो एक कॉमन प्लेस में रख के सबको लिंक भेजा जाएगा। वो हम बात करके आपको बताएंगे।
हाँ सर,
आपको मेल मिल जाएगा, 2-3 दिन में आपको मेल आएगा। आपको रजिस्ट्रेशन का फॉर्म, या आप रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं करे होंगे तो करे होंगे तो
नहीं करेंगे।
हाँ, तो चेक करके आप अगर रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं करे तो रजिस्ट्रेशन कंप्लीट कीजिए। तो वो उसका और सर्टिफिकेट कैसे लेना है, कहाँ से लेना है, पूरा डिटेल्स आपको मेल में मिल जाएगा।
अच्छा सर, थैंक यू सर। और ये जो डेली हो रहा है, ये जो वेबिनार हो रहा है इंटरनेशनल, ये सर्टिफिकेट क्या मेल पे
नहीं
आएगा?
सब,
क्या डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा?
वेबसाइट पे ही मिलता है।
अच्छा, मैं तो वेबसाइट में विजिट कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन तो मिल तो नहीं रहा।
नहीं, सबका तो 15 डेज का पॉलिसी है। So सभी सर्टिफिकेट क्या तो 15 days के अंदर कभी कभी 1-2 दिन इधर इधर होता है तो सर्टिफिकेट्स पूरे वेबसाइट में रहता है आप उस डेट में जाके मैं आपको अभी दिखा देता हूँ 2 मिनट का काम है आप देख लीजिएगा कैसे डाउनलोड करना है
हाँ हाँ एक बार थोड़ा अगर भेज दिए तो
हाँ अभी दिखाता हूँ मैं एक्चुअली
ठीक।
कभी कभी दिखाते हैं
ठीक है
पूरा
बहुत धन्यवाद
इंस्ट्रक्शंस है एक आप म्यूट कर लीजिएगा मैं
हाँ
बताता हूँ
थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
Dear participants, quickly fill up the feedback form. I will show you how to download your certificates from the website. In the meanwhile, you can continue filling up the feedback form if you haven't done so. So this is a website where it is a very simple name to remember, sricasw.org. It's mentioned in the chat box and also in the registration message you have received, and even I think you got a message through which you have joined this webinar. So in the same message also, you can find this website address. So once you visit this website, you can scroll down. Here you can see International Webinar Series on Holistic Health and Well-being and Sustainable Development. You can click here. Actually, we are also coming with a direct link. Actually, this is the link. We are still developing it. Here, we are preparing all the links, directly when calendar, where you can directly click on that and you can just navigate directly. But this will take some time. It is still in the process. Till then, we have to follow the earlier method only. That is just after visiting the website, you can scroll down. Here, you can find the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development. Here you can see from 24th March onwards, daily webinars and conferences are there. You can click on this. Here there is a dedicated website for this series. So you can type the series. This address is also available in the registration form. Otherwise also you can navigate from the main site to this site. Here also we are trying to give the schedule here, but it will take some time. Some of them we have updated. See, you can see the links here from directly. You can just directly select the month and select the date, and you can directly go to that date particular, but it is still in the process. Otherwise also links are all there. You need not worry, because in this page we are updating, but otherwise you can see here, if it is weekdays, that is Monday to Friday, you need to select this one. If it is Sunday, you have to select in the navigation menu on the left side. You can see Sundays and special days, like recently 75th Independence Day will be special days. When you click on that, you can see 15th August on special days. So here you can see all the details are mentioned. What is the criteria, eligibility criteria, registration, and joining, participating, presenting if they are presenting, otherwise providing feedback, and downloading certificate. So these are the basic requirements for every webinar or conference. And there is also registration form here mentioned on the website. Not everyone has completed. There is still, we are waiting for everyone, as generally websites are, these certificates are generated only once, all at once. So we are waiting for the all the speakers to complete. So that's That's why we take some time, if someone misses also, they can get back to us and we can update. So here you can see registration link. If you have not registered but joined on that day, participated, presented on that day, you can use this form to register yourself and complete it at the earliest. And below that is the flyer, which you can see on that day. And here you will find the download link for web certificates. Like I will show you. If we take any Sunday, say suppose some July, we take here you can see Sunday's flyer. Just below the flyer, you can see here link to download your certificates. Google Drive link will be available. You can click on this and download. Even for weekdays also. Similarly, only thing is you need to remember the date. With the date you will know whether it is weekday or Sunday or even for that matter, if there are any special days also, whether it is a weekday or Sunday, you can appropriately look here. Or if you can't find it, you can just search in the special day. Generally, special day has very special occasion. So most of the time you can find it either in weekdays or in Sundays. So here in weekdays from 24th March, all the 24th March. So you can see the flyer and you can see the download link. Similarly, even to the latest August recent one, today's August 19th, you can see the flyer. Just below that, you can find the link here, as still the webinar is going on and we have a 15 days policy set. So we will update the link here. So you need to just visit this website and then on weekdays you select this and you go to August, today's date, whichever date you have attended, even earlier also or coming webinars also. You can click on the date and you can find the link in their respective page. You can, by looking at the flyer, you can confirm yourself or you can check the details if it is the same date or not, if you have any ambiguity, and you can download. The registration form for all the webinars, especially for Sundays and special days, other weekdays, the registration form is same. In that form, you will have an option for which day or for which webinar you are registering. You just need to fill that. So registration form is same. So you can find the registration form on the website as well as the message shared with you. And this is the dedicated website subsite. Even there also you can find joining link is also same for all the events. Any day, weekday, special day, Sunday, for conference, webinar, symposium, seminar, whatever it is, the link is same. So, the website address is same. So only thing you need to remember is date and time. And if you want to add this calendar automatically, if you miss to remember the dates, if it happens with everyone, you can add this calendar. You can visit this calendar, click on this calendar, and you can click on this to add this calendar to your Android or Google or iOS, Outlook, or Gmail, Yahoo, whichever calendar you are using. You can add this to your calendar. Then automatically it will send you reminders. Every day it will remind you before 6 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. And every Sunday it will remind you before 11 o'clock and at 11 o'clock. So that you will not forget, and if notifications are available, it will also send you email. It will also remind you on your devices. If notifications are enabled, a pop-up message will come. So in this, you will have all the joining link. You need not remember joining link. You can just click on the link, and website address is also provided in that link. So you don't need to remember anything. So it's very simple. Register, participate, provide feedback, and download your certificate. Very simple procedure. And there is one more instruction for everyone. Here, the attendance is being automatically being tracked by Zoom platform. So whenever you are attending, make sure that the participant name on in the list of participants, make sure that is name as you required on the certificates and as you register. That will help in case you miss to fill the feedback form, or because the Zoom generates the attendance and gives a report. So it is easy to map this attendance to your registration and feedback data. So always ensure that you set your profile name or username or the participant name to your name as required on the certificate. This will help us to easily identify, because there may be we may have multiple names or device names which is difficult to identify. In case of any such concerns are there, you let us notify immediately that we have joined in so and so name. Otherwise also, what you can do, if you have joined, you can just log out and join back again by setting your name. Otherwise, if you have realized that at a later moment after or at the ending of that, you can leave your message with all your details, name, mobile number, designation, organization, mobile number, email, in the chat box, so that at least while going through the chat box, we can find, okay, this is you, and we can map the attendance to appropriate registration form, registration data and feedback data, so that your eligibility is met and the certificate can be generated. This is entirely systematic. There is no manual intervention anywhere. Only when we feel that the percentage or certain exemptions are required, we manually intervene. So make sure that it exactly matches the registration data and feedback form data. Otherwise, it will not generate certificate. That is only instruction. Otherwise, we also, that's why we are also checking manually to make sure that everyone gets certificate. So that's why in case of such discrepancy, you can always leave whenever you join the meeting. Make sure you always share your details in chat box, selecting the host, only host as recipient, so that in case if any such discrepancies are there, that can be also rightly addressed. So thank you everyone for joining us, and kindly fill up the feedback form, and for Sunday conference, I have shared the chat box. You can register for Sundays also. Join us if you would like to present or participate. Feel free. So see you all tomorrow at the same time, 6 o'clock, with the same link with different topic. Take care. Good night.